suffered a concussion, a mild traumatic brain injury, and I had constant headaches and nausea, vertigo, and memory loss. I was in a constant fog. I couldn't work at all. I could barely read or write. It was the hardest thing I ever went through. And it was awful. Wow, 15 seconds is longer than last year. So it was really hard for me to express to friends and family what I was going through. I tried to scribble some notes. I wrote, "Everything is hard. The iron fist is pushing against my thoughts. My whole brain feels vacuum pressurized. If I can't think, who am I?" It took me about an hour to write that. So my doctor told me it would take 30 days to get better, and there were all these things I couldn't do for 30 days. No reading, no writing, no video games, no computer, no caffeine, in other words, no reason to live, which sounds, like a joke, but actually suicidal ideation is very common in people with traumatic brain injury, and it happened to me. My brain started telling me, "Jane, you want to die." It was actually terrifying. After 30 days of no improvement, I was more depressed and anxious and lonely than I'd ever been in my life. And my doctor told me those emotions were making it harder for my brain to heal. It changes the biochemistry. I had to be happy somehow in order to heal. So it came down to, on August 18th, 2009, I said to myself, I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to turn this into a game. Why a game? Because when we play a game, we believe that anything is possible. Games make extreme challenges feel possible by provoking our optimism, interesting by provoking our curiosity, self-motivated by provoking our sense of agency, and meaningful by provoking awe and wonder. And I wanted to create these emotions for myself as well as for my caretakers because they were getting kind of burnt out of me being in the state of fog. So I created a role-playing recovery game, mission number 1, create your secret identity. When you're sick or injured, you don't feel like yourself, so why not feel like somebody super awesome? And my secret identity was inspired by one of my favorite heroines in fiction, and that would be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I became Jane the Concussion Slayer, and that made my symptoms, the demons, the vampires, and the forces of darkness that I was destined by fate to battle against. And then I had mission number 2, which was to recruit your allies. So take a look at the friends and family that you want by your side as you face this challenge, and then invite them to play the game with you. Give them each their own specific mission and secret identity to help you. This gives people who care about you and want to help but don't know how something specific to do. So I invited my twin sister to be my watcher, that's Buffy's mentor. Her job was to call me every single day and give me one thing to do in the next 24 hours to get better, and also to keep track of my concussion-slaying activities. For my second ally, I invited my husband to be Willow, the computer geek best friend. By the way, look how much he looks like Willow, isn't that really creepy? So his job was to do my email for me and look up things on the internet that would help me understand how my brain was healing. And then I invited, as my next set of allies, my friends Natalie, Ramel, and Maurice. Maurice is the dachshund, to play Xander, who's the comic relief character. Their job was to come over once a week and make me laugh by any means necessary, and that usually involved their dogs wrestling, and that made me laugh a lot. So once you've got your allies, now you have mission 3, find the bad guys. Bad guys are anything that trigger your symptoms. Once you identify the triggers, that's the more suffering you can avoid. And eventually you can work up your stamina in the face of triggers so that you can actually come out and be a part of them again and vanquish the bad guys forever. Mission number 4, identify your power-ups. These are anything that make you feel better on even a terrible day. These are things that provoke your positive emotions. We know positive emotions are important for healing. So these are things like petting my dog, made me feel good even if I was having a terrible day. Mission number 5, create your superhero to-do list. These are goals, positive goals that even before your illness or injury might have been wild, impossible dreams. Actually, coincidentally, one of mine was to give a TED Talk, and later that year I got invited to do one. That was really awesome. And so did it work? Yes, after 30 days of no recovery, within days I started to get better. Within a year I was fully recovered. It worked so well for me, I posted the rules online and people started playing in for everything from chemotherapy to diabetes to asthma to surviving a bad breakup, even finding a new job actually. So now I founded a company called Super Better. So not everyone wants to be a concussion slayer. So you make your own identity, you go on this adventure. We just started clinical trials at Ohio State University. We're going into beta this September. You all can play. The secret code to get in is HEALTH-FOO. The big idea here is that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I believe that game designers are on a humanitarian mission to help people learn how not to suffer, how to promote their positive emotions, how to build up their resilience, basically how to become the best version of ourselves. So please remember, I'm Jane McGonigal, or Jane the Concussion Slayer, and if you see any vampires or demons lurking around Cambridge this weekend, ta-da! My brain might be healed, but I still know how to kick some vampire ass. Thank you.